Canadians are boring. Imagine how I felt when I read that sentence in a book written by an American author. I was, quite frankly, upset because I'm a Canadian and I certainly don't think I'm boring. But a couple of days later, in the mail, there arrived a flyer from Belgium. Celebrate Canada Day by buying ladies' nightshirts, men's boxer shorts, fleece blanket. And so I thought, well, you know, if that's how we celebrate our national holiday, by hanging around the house all day in our nightwear, cuddled up with a blanket, maybe they're right. Maybe we are boring. Certainly seemed that way to me. I'm sure most of the people here have heard of a book by Robert Covey called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Well, Weight Watchers has sort of the same thing in their program, only we call it 7 Helpful Habits. Now, I'm not going to talk to you about all 7 habits because I've only got 5 minutes. And so I'm going to talk about 2 of them that seem to cause a lot of difficulty for most people. So, I'm going to talk about the helpful habit of asking for help. This seems to be particularly difficult for most adults to do. I don't know if it's because as an adult we feel we should be the helper and not the helpee, but I've learned over the last few years that asking for help really can do a lot towards getting you where you want to go. And the other one I want to talk about tonight is learn from experience. Several years ago, I read what I like to call a truism. Few people are successful unless a lot of other people want them to be. This is me, 60 pounds heavier 5 years ago. I don't know if you can see it very well or not, but trust me, I'm almost as big as the Christmas tree behind me. You can't see it from down there. So I went to Weight Watchers for help, and I got help. I also put off doing this speech, actually, for a few months because I'm really afraid of technology. But I'm always telling my nephew, who's doing nursing, that he should utilize his resources. So I finally decided to take my own advice, and I contacted Alex, and he agreed to set this up for me tonight. Asking for help. Sounds pretty simple now, doesn't it? Learn from experience. Our lowest prices dare to compare 3 250-gram bags or 235-gram bags for $6. What a bargain. I had to think about that one for a minute. In Weight Watchers, every food has a points value, and that value is based on the number of calories, the number of fat grams, and the number of fiber grams in any particular food. So, in Weight Watchers, 1 ounce of potato chips, which is about maybe 1/5 or even 1/8 of this bag, costs me 4 points. 5 cups of popcorn costs me 2. So if it's about the volume, because quite frankly, this wouldn't do it for me, I need to be occupied longer than 2 seconds to eat my chips or my snacks. So I would go with this, because I know, I've learned from experience that the real deal is 3 bags for $60. Because if I eat 3 bags of these potato chips, I'm going to end up paying Weight Watchers another $15 a week for 3 or 4 weeks to get rid of the damage I caused myself. So that much I've learned from experience. So you're thinking, why did she call her speech? It's all in your mind when she's talking about us learning from experience or asking for help. And it's because these habits are difficult to acquire. So in Weight Watchers, we also have what we call tools for living. And you can get these habits working for you by using these tools for living. Empowering beliefs. You have to believe that you can be a success. And you know you can be a success. You wouldn't be here at Toastmasters if you didn't know that. Mental rehearsing. Practice in your imagination. You won't believe how many times I gave this speech to my stove last night in the kitchen watching the time. And the last one, positive self-talking. That works really well for me because I spent a lot of time having a real bad case of the O4Ms and feeling really bad about, my lot in life and my arthritis and how miserable I was and everything else. And finally I had to face that great big mirror in my living room that I told you about one night and admit to myself that I needed help. So I went to Weight Watchers and I got help. So whether you go to Weight Watchers or not, these are two really good habits for you to work on developing in order to achieve your own success. Thank you for listening.